Awesome. I am here with Jason from Stormruler. Super happy to speak to you. As I said, we played you loads of times on a radio show and love the new album. Yeah, thank you for agreeing to do this.
Thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for coming in early enough to get it all worked out.
No worries. We travelled from frostbitten Wales to...
Welsh crew, all right. You drove up from Wales?
We got the train, so we dragged all this crap on the
ride
train.
is that?
Like 2 hours, roughly.
That's not terrible.
No.
We had a buddy come out in Glasgow, and he took a train 5 hours. He's way out in the Highlands. Our buddy James from a band called Hell Ripper.
Oh, we've had Hell Ripper on the podcast.
Yeah, dude, James is a total homie. Love that.
Yeah, we're interviewing him next week actually. Nice. He's supporting Warbringer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in Manchester, we're gonna have James on the show for that.
Give him the Stormruler best.
Oh right, I will do. So Sacred Rites and Black Magic has been out for a little while now. About a year. They came out in 2022. So
end of 22 is in October. Yeah, we put it out.
Yeah. How do you think that's been received? We fucking loved it, but
how it's been received fairly well. We were sitting on that material for a while, mm-hmm. and we wanted to present that record because the first record I was telling you before this was it was kind of written as a joke. It was never planned to be a real thing. So we when we finally put that one out, we told Napalm, we're hey, we already have another record that we're ready to present to everybody. So let's try to go all out on this one and all that. And put it out in October, and I think it's been received fairly well. We've been going over really well on this tour, pretty much all through Europe. So
awesome. Yeah, we're really excited to actually see you in person for the first time, and can't wait for it.
The UK's been blowing it down. We've loved the UK. Bristol and Glasgow already have been some of the best shows.
Nice.
Yeah. So don't drop the ball.
No. Awesome. So, so I was, as I've kind of said to you just before we started rolling and stuff, I picked up a massive dissection influence on the most recent album. Is that an intentional thing?
I think it's it's a little byproduct of it. We, like I said, with the first record, it was kind of written just as a joke. We just wanted to write a melodic black metal record because nobody was really doing that in the States. There's very few. So Jesse and I, the drummer, it's really just us two, and we hire other dudes to come out with us. We're let's take aspects of Dawn and Marduk and Summoning and Dissection and Windeer and Emperor and all these bands we love and try to just piece together this concoction of black metal, and Dissection happens to be at the forefront of that. So
yeah, no, definitely, I fucking love that sound.
Fuck yeah.
So gonna be honest, so the next bit is we wanted to ask you about your lyrical influences. Both me and Danny have only played the tiniest bit of Elden Ring, and know that From Software games a huge influence from you on you. So I did ask a friend of mine who is a huge Dark Souls fan, but the question he came out with was good but quite generic, but it was basically, what is it about the lore of Dark Souls and the overall story of Bloodborne, Dark Souls, etc., that you thought was a great lyrical inspiration for a black metal record?
Well, as Jesse and I have said before, the FromSoft games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Elden Ring, all that stuff, it's kind of the modern day Lord of the Rings for black metal. It's kind of untapped. There's a handful of bands out there that sing about it, but there's not a whole lot. As in the 90s, everybody was singing about Lord of the Rings.
It's kind of done now.
It's a new thing, yeah. So it's at the time when we wrote the record, we're well, what are we both playing right now? Well, we're both playing Dark Souls. I'm all right, let's do some Dark Souls lyrics and shit. So about half the record is Dark Souls, and the other half is just whatever we want.
Awesome. So what would you say sort of out of the whole canon of From Software games is your favorite?
Probably either DS3 or Bloodborne. Bloodborne has the best story without a doubt. Dark Souls 3 is just the magnum opus of all those games for me.
Because I found Elden Ring a little bit kind of because I know the whole thing is it doesn't hold your hand and there's the learning curve, etc. But I found it, because I don't have that much time to game anymore, I found it very hard to jump into that world, and the story isn't exactly fed to you either.
For games like that, jumping into Elden Ring, it's a massive game. So I would recommend going to Dark Souls 1 and then just working your way forward into the rest of them. But Elden Ring, I'll catch a little heat for it. I loved the game. I don't think it's the best by a long stretch. A lot of repetition and the dungeon crawling and all that stuff, but it was fun. I liked it.
Sweet. So on a lot of the guitar melodies that you've got, I'm picking up a real medieval sort of feel to a lot of them. and this is like a bit of a music nerd question, but is there a specific like scale or mode that you tend to rely on more heavily than not to try and create that medieval feel to some of the melodies in the record?
No, not necessarily. Like, I go a little deep on the whole theory and stuff like that, but when it comes to modes and stuff, I'm not like studying the guitar grimoire or anything. It's mostly I have listened to a lot of that music, and I kind of know what it should sound like, so I kind of gravitate towards that stuff.
So is it mainly just like, because like from learning dissection, it's mainly like minor key and harmonic minor tend to just
a lot of harmonic minor, of course, but like I said, when you listen to like some medieval folk music, if you will, you hear the melodies and you're just like, these would sound really great if they were distorted and just buzzed. and they lend themselves perfectly to that style of music. So
no, like definitely, like I'm a historical reenactor, and I've been getting into the more like traditional stuff, and was sat on a burial mound playing a traditional Saxon lyre, like not too long ago.
That's cool.
Yeah, at the Sutton Hoo, you know, with the ship burial where they found like the helmet with like the mask on and that stuff. But
yeah, I love that.
So like in general, like I know that you're like 7 weeks into this like massive tour with Cannibal Corpse and stuff.
Oh yeah.
How are you holding up?
We're ready. We've got 3 more shows tonight, tomorrow in London, and Nottingham to close it out. But yeah, 7 weeks we've all been together on this thing, and it's been a blast. A lot of shenanigans, great shows, good food, but I think we're all kind of ready to go home and relax a little bit, get away from each other. I mean, on our bus, there's 18 people, all rolling together. Us, the Dark Funeral crew, and Ingested crew are all on the same bus, so it's a little close quarters.
Cozy.
Yeah, very cozy. Become best friends doing that shit.
Yeah, I could imagine. Is there plans for a new album on the horizon? Anything like big that you kind of want to plug on the show?
Nothing to like really announce. Before we left for this tour, Jesse and I, we started demoing some stuff. So we're about 3 or 4 songs into the newest record, and then we have a good handful of demos that we'll probably just like pick apart and I want to use that riff, or let's can that because that sucks. But maybe next year, maybe the end of next year, possibly for a new full length or maybe an EP with some surprises. Who knows?
Awesome. Look forward to hearing whatever comes down the pipeline with you guys. But yeah, we've loved the last 2 records and give them, you know, heavy rotation on a radio show.
On the next record.
A treat.
Like a good little treat.
Okay,
I'll leave it in there.
that's an exclusive.